Good morning once again. You are welcome to this very important event, which is CITSA Chronicles 3.0. This is the third version of our CITSA series, and one of the most important. Okay? Why do I say it's one of the most important? Because of the heavy name that is attached to it. Okay? Good. Why is it very important? This is very important because at the end of every stage, I'm talking about first year undergraduate university level. I'm talking about first year undergraduate university level of undergraduate university level. You have to what? Do what we call a final year project work. That's undergraduate. When you finish your master's also, you have to do another one called a thesis, which is more elaborate than an undergraduate project work, right? And then when you get a PhD, what we call a doctorate, right? You also have to do the same thing. It's also called a PhD dissertation. Okay? These three things that I've mentioned are major and important milestones that prove your worth. They prove exactly what you have hidden inside you that you can bring out to help the world, right? So it is a very important stage that you shouldn't take for granted. Okay? That is why we want to hold a workshop on this so that we don't live in mediocrity. One good thing about this is that we leave you to get any grade at all. You can, in fact, as at now, we have people who will not graduate, people who have finished school but they will not graduate because their project work is not ready, right? We will leave you to that because you came to us that you want to graduate, and then we took you through the system. And this is one of the requirements for you to graduate. If you don't meet it, you will not graduate. That one will not force you. There are also people who just want to do it in a mediocre way and then go away with a D. Those people too are allowed to get their D and then they go home peacefully. There are people who also want to get just any gentleman pass, like a D plus, a C plus, or a B, right? Or maybe a B plus. Those people is also allowed. They are life choices. We didn't send you to school, so you are allowed to also get those grades, right? But the last one, which is an A, right? A. A means excellence. If you know, since primary school, they tell you that the very first grade is excellent. We have good, very good, and all that excellent. Excellent means that you should actually excel in it before you deserve it. And in fact, I'll show you proof of how difficult it is to get an A in a project work. I'll show you the marking scheme and everything so that you know how difficult it is, how hard you have to work for it to get an A. Okay? So because of that, we will be looking at some major areas which project works, you can do a project work. And excuse me for that bias, I think you are from which department? Nursing. Okay. So forgive us for that. For the first 30 minutes, we'll be talking more about IT stuff. But every other thing after that will benefit everyone. Because at the end of the day, but you are free to ask questions because I know a little bit about nursing projects also. I can give you examples of project work that you can work on. Okay, so we will be looking at the types of project work that you can do because most of you don't even know what to do. Okay, you don't know what to do, but there are so many things out there, but you don't know what to do. So we will discuss that, and then you are free to ask any question. You just time me after every 10 minutes, you are free to ask questions before. So it's a discussion. It's not, I'm not coming to impose anything on you, right? It's a discussion. So we take note of that. Then we will also look at how we assess project work because it's transparent, right? We will show you what we look at before we give you the grades that you deserve. And then we'll also look at supervisor, right? The role of a supervisor and how to relate with your supervisor. And then the last one is this one, time management. Okay? After that, the PPTs are two. This is the first PPT. The second one will focus more on how to do what we call a literature review and then what we call research ethics. Okay? Then when we finish that, we can now go for a break. When we come back, we will use our computers to know how to document because it's one thing knowing all this and then one thing knowing how to deal with professional standards. For me, I pay attention to such details when we are accessing or reviewing your work because a lot of you just know how to type. You don't know how to be professional when it comes to documentation. From what I've seen so far, I've been assessing students for years, and I just see that a lot of you just know how to type. Oh, I know how to use MS Word. Oh, when you go into it, it's just typing. It goes beyond what? Typing. Okay? Good. All right. So let's zoom straight into action. What is an undergraduate project work? So, as I said earlier, this is a research task, right? In computer science, ICT, nursing, the business people also do it. The social sciences, the education, they all do project work. Okay? And what is the sole aim of a project work? The sole aim of a project work is to solve a real world problem. Okay? What do we mean by a real world problem? I think I have okay, talk. Mm, mm-hmm. Okay, good. Anyone? Any other person? Any other person? Any other person? Okay, let's move on. Now, I mentioned two key points, right? Okay, in that solution. Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, it applies, as I said, it applies to every field. Do you know why I underline this? Hmm? I underline this because over the years, I've noticed some students like the easy way out, right? What do they do? Because this is my basic principle. If you don't prepare for battle, it means that you are likely to fail, right? So if you don't plan, it means you are actually planning to fail, right? Good. And that's how I've noticed how a lot of you are. I will not blame you because I blame our system, right? At our parts of this world, we just literally sit unconcerned when it comes to everything, right? But I want to change the paradigm, right? I want to help us to all change the paradigm for you to know that some of these things are very, very important, right? So you need a very different approach to this. That's why I didn't say it's for level 400s. Of course, the level of 400s are the ones in the soup, but we also need other people will be entering the soup. No matter what you do, you'll be entering the soup. So ideally, everyone is supposed to be here. Why is this so? The level 100s or 200s have a bigger chance of making it here if they start early enough. Okay, so when you go to especially the public universities, there is more competition there because they have the numbers. So for you to be visible, what do? You have to prove yourself. So mostly what they do is that they don't start final year project work in final year. They start, maybe they came level 100, they are now trying to get used to the system. They've done one or two courses. They are still not getting it. But by the time they get to 200, they start getting exactly what they are interested in, right? And then when they are in 200, they start building something. And then they identify a problem, they start solving it. By the time you are in level 400, you have a firm grasp of whatever you are solving, right? And then you can do something substantial and then you don't live in mediocrity. Okay? Good. So what did I focus on? I focused on what? Problem. Okay? There are so many problems out there. The danger of being in level 400 and now thinking about project work is that because you don't have enough time, anything in at that point in time, you may not have even discovered yourself. So any mediocre problem may be a big problem to you when it's actually not a problem, right? That is where some students use a particular trick. They will go to another university and pick up their project work, right? And then when it comes to proposal, they will go and rewrite it as a proposal and then tell you that this is their project work that they are coming to do. Then they will vanish into thin air. Then when it's time for the final presentation of the document, they'll go and pick up the whole document and bring it to you that it is their project work, right? So we have a very good system of detecting that. When we detect that, you go and start all over again. We will change your topic, right? Good, because we have so many problems out there. Why should you go and pick someone's problem to solve? Right? And then that's what will delay your graduation or may make you fail or get those D, because if you want to start from scratch, then you have to also know how to do it. Right? Good. So we want to prevent all those things. That is why we want to what? Look at how to solve real world problems. Okay? It applies to nursing and all those, because when it comes to all the other fields too, like nursing, there are so many problems that are there. At the end of the day, it is about identifying the problem and then knowing how to solve that problem. Okay? Good. So let's move on. I think I've spoken for 5 minutes. Any question? Hmm? Yeah. I will not tell you. Yes. So if you are a corporate, if we catch you, you will know. Yes. Interestingly, I've caught a number of my students doing immediately I catch you. I'll not tell you directly that you've stolen, but you end up doing it all over again. Mm, Mhm. We don't have any, it's not stealing. If you want to add up to the idea, it means that at any point in time, you will have to start all over. Because the idea is already there. In fact, there is nothing new in this world. Me, that's my philosophy. There is nothing new in this world. But there are so many ways of seeing the same thing. There are so many things that have not been discovered, right? So don't be that person that will just go and pick someone's work. You can pick someone's work, all right, but you look at it from a different perspective, or extract just one part of it and zoom in details to solve that problem, right? Yes, but what I'm talking about is wholesale lifting. Like all, in fact, I've seen someone picking a master's project, right? And then I still saw the acknowledgements and acknowledging the lecturers in KNUST, right? Yes, that is the wholesale lifting I'm talking about. And that one is so easy to catch, right? That's the easiest to catch because I was reading the acknowledgement. I was like, ah, how are you in West End and then acknowledging KNUST? So saying my lectures in this department of KNUST, is that this thing? No. All right. So let's discuss this 16. I was able to extract 16 benefits of project work for your perusal. Okay. The first one is that you are able to apply practical knowledge. Okay. What do you mean by this? From level 100 to 400, you'll be doing so many courses. If I should calculate, let me check. Usually, the minimum credits required for you to graduate is 120 credits. So 120 divided by usually 3 credits. You would have done 40 courses. Okay? You will need a minimum of 40 courses from level 100 to 400 to complete school. Okay? Now, meaning that 5 courses per semester, 5 until you finish. There are so many practical, all those things we are teaching you. Let me tell you the gospel truth. All the things that we teach you in West End University is world standard. If you go to all the correct universities in the world, it's the same thing that you will learn because we follow a general curriculum and then we are always being reviewed. Okay? So, for example, Ghana, is it Ghana Tertiary Education Commission? They keep, in fact, this whole vacation, they visited more than 5 times, trying to review our system and making sure that we are according to what standards. If there is any new programs, if even the school facilities, our curriculum, how we access and everything, they access it, right? So we are not just doing things out of the blue. We are doing according to what standards. Okay. So all those courses, 40 courses that you do, I'll say more than 90, in fact, all of them have application areas. Okay? Things that are done in the real world that we can't teach you everything. There is no school in this world that can teach you everything. But you are supposed to apply that knowledge in something, right? So project works afford you it gives you the opportunity to what? Apply any of those courses in the real world. Okay? I hope you get it. That's the first one. Then the second one is skill development. There are so many skills that you will learn from a project work. Okay? That includes all the soft skills. If I say soft skills, you know what I'm talking about, right? It comes to, for example, software, maybe how to use MS Word, how to use Excel, how to even do PowerPoint presentations, how to present, right? If you are working on a networking project, how you can fix or design a network looking at reliability, load balancing, and so many other things, security, right? You end up getting those skills. If it is programming too, you know the skills that you get from it, right? And then, for example, the nurses, you also learn how to do a survey. Mostly they go and do a survey. So because of that, let me remind you, there is a part B of this presentation tomorrow. Mr. Julius will be doing it online for us from 1 to 3 p.m. So those of you who are interested in surveys, right? You want to do a survey, meaning that you identify a problem, you want to test whether that problem is actually there. Then you design what we call a questionnaire, and then you send it out there. People feel it, you get people's perception, we call it perception. And then you come back, analyze it, understand the data, and then you make your inference out of the data. And then you conclude. And then if you want to give recommendations, you do that, right? Mr. Julius is an expert mathematician and then statistician. So he will help you, he will guide you, he will give you information on how to do that. So that you can, if that's what you are interested in, ICT, you can do that. But computer science, we don't usually do it unless you can go further beyond that, right? But nurses, they are also, Dele will be sharing the link in the various groups for that particular Google Meet. Okay, good. Then the next one is portfolio building. What do we mean by portfolio? Some of us are already working, right? So if you are already working, you have an advantage because wherever you are working, you may be building a portfolio. And what do we mean by portfolio? Portfolio is the list of major achievements, okay, that you have in a particular field. For example, if you are, let's say, a graphic designer, right? Your portfolio is the list of all designs you've done for people. I hope you get it. Good. But if you are not working or you are working in a place that will not build your portfolio of what you are interested in, right? A project work gives you the opportunity to do that, right? Meaning that maybe you want to become a network engineer, but you only learned computer networks in class, right? You can use that project work as an avenue to what? Design a networking system. For example, for this school, someone has designed a virtual networking system for this school, right? I think he did that 2-3 years ago. So he designed a virtual network system for the school where the routers should be, where the switch will be, and then using the plan of the school, right? So that becomes his portfolio, right? Because it's an actual real world problem that he has solved. So it is a portfolio. I hope you get that. Next one is problem solving experience. As I said, is the most important. If you are not solving a problem, then I don't see. So the first question I'll always ask you in a project work is that if I'm your supervisor, I ask you what problem is it solving? Okay? If you are not able to define the problem for us, then I'm not sure the project work is fit to be a project work. Okay? Good. Let's move on. The next one is research and innovation. Research and innovation. If you've noticed, right, in this university, we train you to be innovative thinkers. We don't train you to be a wholesale person, right? You see how we do it when it comes to assessment, how the type of project works that we give you, right? We give you whatever you need to know. Then you have to go outside and then research on the problem, and then you use your innovative thinking to find a way of solving that problem. Okay? That's what we call research and innovation. As I said earlier, there is nothing new under the sun. So researching just means the thing is already there. Just research on it. Research. Okay? Search on it, you will find that information, and then you use that information to solve a problem. Okay? So that is why I don't believe in wholesale thinking. Me, when you come to me for a topic, I'm not going to lift anyone's project work. You are coming to what? Solve a problem. And then that problem, you think outside the box, you solve the problem, and then you come out with a very good research. And that's the only way you can get A. Let me be frank with you. Okay? Because if you are hardworking, garbage in, garbage out, if you are hardworking, you are good to go, right? I've had instances where all the people I supervised, like 5 people, got A. And then when it's externally reviewed, they also say, yes, these people deserve A, and then they get the A. Why? Because these people worked hard for it. Okay? But if you don't work hard, there is no form of friendship that will make a supervisor give you A. Okay? Because of how it is well reviewed. So, for you to get that particular last grade, you need to what? Be hardworking, be innovative enough, and then you are good to get the A. And then, as we said, these things prepare you for the future. Right? I hope you are aware it prepares you for the future. Because as you are building your portfolio, you go out to the real world. You see, most of the times we have this issue. And that was, you see, we recently got this step. We had a meeting on Google Meet, right? And then Elizabeth Roots spoke to us, right? And she confirmed this. She was like, there is a big disconnect with what we learn and what actually happens in the real world, right? Yes. And what are some of the ways to solve this? You use internships, right? You can use your freelance project work. That's 2. 3, project work, right? Because through project work, you learn so many things such as independent thinking. I'll be talking a lot about that. Let me write it so that I don't forget. That's why we'll be talking a lot about supervisors. A supervisor, let me give you a disclaimer. A supervisor is not supposed to do your project work for you, right? Yes, all we have to do is I'll be telling you what we do. We can't come and sit down and be writing anything for you. We are just supposed to do something, and I'll tell you that thing. Okay? That thing is what? We are supervising, meaning that we are checking on what you are doing. Okay? So, meaning that you yourself, you have to think. We will not do the thinking to you. We will help you to think, but we will not think for you. Okay? So, in all that, it will help you to what? Prepare for your future career. Because if in the corporate world, if you want to rise up a ladder, you have to be a thinker. Otherwise, you always be at that level. The only way that you can rise up the ladder is when you prove yourself that you can think outside the box. That is when you can rise up the ladders. Because if you are a CEO, you have to know more than everyone under you. Or you are not aware. Hmm? Research shows that most of the good CEOs, right, they have been in the company for years or in that particular field for years. And then they've risen the ranks, and then they know the in and out of the whole company, how everyone works. Okay? So you need to what? Be able to what? Build your portfolio, be a critical thinker, rise up the ladder, and then you can get to that level. So project work can help you do that, because in the corporate world, you need time management, you need to know how to meet deadlines, you need to know how to work in a group. Sometimes we encourage group project work, but we only give you approve it if the problem is a big problem and we know one person cannot solve. All right. You have a foundation for further studies, right? You see, interestingly, uh, you see some of those students I've talked about, right? Like those who start from level 200, right? By the time, what I've noticed is that, for example, KNUST, some of those guys who finish, they easily get very good scholarships. You know, getting a scholarship is becoming increasingly difficult because we have so many undergraduates now, right? So now you have to prove yourself when you want to get a scholarship. Either you are a very good sportsman, you know sportsmanship, right? Like you are a good runner, you play good volleyball, and all those other things. Some of those universities like picking those people into their team. For example, universities in the US, they will pick you because you are a good sportsman. You learn maybe partial, right? But you help the universities excel. That is one. Another one is they look at your how you volunteer, right? People who volunteer, they are noted to be uh, good out there. They are not just trying to be a burden to society, but they are helping society in one way or the other. So through volunteering experiences, you can get a scholarship. The last one to stand out is what? Project work. Okay. If your project work is very outstanding, they notice that this person has the thinking outside the box capacity, right? You are likely to get a very good scholarship because some of the scholarships they will interview you to know whether what you say you are actually that person, right? Yes, so if you are able to churn out a very good project work, that can be a yardstick for them to pick you for a master's or sometimes even directly for a PhD candidateship, right? Good. So I have known a number of people that through their project work, because they consciously started from 200 or 300, right? They were able to come out with something significant that could help the whole society. Okay, so it can serve as a foundation for what further studies. Okay, good. Any other question? I think we need your question, David. All right, maybe be gathering your questions. You can write them down, right? So this the part that I said is not for is only for computer science and not for nurses. You know, all the things I've talked about applies to everyone. But it's because a lot of you not uh, are still finding it difficult to know exactly what to work on, right? That is why I brought this particular one. Okay, so I used AI to generate a set of project work topics that you can get in all the fields. So I'll share it with you after the this, and I didn't say you should go and pick that up. They are just ideas. They are AI. You can even pick one and then massage it, solve that, pick a problem out of it, and then you can start solving it. So this is the this you see, I did software development projects, right? So each of them, I made the AI generates 10 project work topics each. Okay, so you can go back to it. So I'll share it with you. Now, if you are a computer science person, right, and then you are confused about what to do, you can look at a software development project. Okay, okay, good. But what we've noticed over the years, we don't encourage this particular one. Why? Because we've noticed over the years that these were those categories of students that I described at the beginning, right? They excel most in it. All they do is that someone has developed a hospital management system at University of Development Studies. They'll go and pick it up because the person has finished coding and documentation. They will come and give it to you as their own. Okay. So these management systems have been so much in the system. Our undergrad too, we didn't want to do management system because we are like, too many people have done it. We want to solve something that people have not done, right? So it doesn't mean it was still a software development project, right? But we wanted to what? Separate ourselves from what other people have been doing. So even if it's a software development project, most of the time some of you will bring a topic that will reject it outright. Because we'll feel like if you bring a hospital management system, we'll be like, we can send you to the library. More than 3 or 4 predecessors that have done the same thing. So we'll tell you because of that, we can't allow you to do it. So some of you will be rejecting you based on some of those things. Okay? But so far as you can build something that is outside the box, right? Will allow you. Let me give you a typical example. There was this guy, Eric, that I supervised. He was like, and he thinks outside the box. That's what I liked about him. In fact, 2 guys, I'll tell you about the 2 of them. First one, Eric, he was like, we'll build a system that allows kids to learn the tree language. Okay? And I was like, that's very good. Do you know how to code in Android? He said, no, but I'll learn. Hmm? I start going to 400, like those going to 400 now. And I was very happy about it. So this guy was able to quickly learn the Android programming language and build such a system. So phonetics, you see a file and then you say akoko, right? And then you can even pronounce it. So text to speech, speech to text, right? He did all those things. He could pronounce it. Even it can check whether what you are pronouncing is right, right? So by the time I noticed he has finished building it, and I was like, it means you can do more, right? Then I told him to develop a game that when they finish learning, they can now learn how to match and then do all those things and play. Do you know how to develop a game? He said no. But then I gave him a game engine and then told him this is what you can do. And then he developed that game also and added it to the work. Okay? So he has learned 2 skills, which is what Android development for normal this thing, text to speech, speech to text, how to match them, and then game development, right? Yes. Me, those are the kind of students I want to supervise, right? If you want to just come and pass through the system, no. For me, don't come to me. I'll tell you plainly. Wait for them. Hmm? Good. So be that person. That's why I added game development here. Embedded system, we are now setting up an embedded lab. So a lot of you don't really know about embedded systems. But if we do that, we will start doing IoT sensors and all those things so that you can also build a system in that. These ones are more complex. And projects. We also have these concrete ones, which is the research project. These ones, you are not actually building a full software. You are just simulating something. Okay? Meaning that for this, you can look at an algorithm. For example, you can be like, okay, Dijkstra algorithm, it takes too much time to run. So why don't I build a better algorithm that will run better than Dijkstra algorithm? That is a full project work by itself. Okay? Hello? Good. It can also be AI and machine learning, artificial intelligence and machine learning. I will encourage a lot of you to even explore this place because for this place the limitations are, in fact, the project topics are endless when it comes to AI. Okay, because there are so many problems to solve. You don't think because we can use ChatGPT now, we can use this or that. There are not problems to solve in the AI field. Then also cryptography. Cryptography. Okay, if you are interested in doing a real world application of cryptography, some of you have learned cryptography, some of you have not learned it, right? I've had 2 students who have worked on cryptography project work before. And they also did very well, right? Good. So that is also a field. Then IoT, one of our students have worked on well, I didn't supervise that project work, right? They've worked on designing an IoT system for a smart home using Cisco Packet Tracer, right? Cisco Packet Tracer. They designed a fire alarm system. One also designed a smart home, right? A smart home using a Cisco Packet Tracer. So those ones fall under IoT. Please be asking questions. So, and as I said, I've listed project works under each of them. You can see them. If you check the software development project, we have health and fitness tracker, online marketplace, virtual classroom management, travel planning, job search. You can use AI to generate more. Game development, you can develop a racing game, battle arena, and the rest. Then an embedded system, smart home security system, wearable health monitor, automated plant watering system. Usually, UCC, but they are computer science, but most of them like doing this stuff because they have an embedded system lab where you can go and then experiment, and then you can also purchase the stuff and then fix them together. So we are trying to, because we've introduced embedded system into the upcoming curriculum, right? So the lab app there, we are designing it so that you can also think in this particular area. Smart traffic system, energy monitoring, smart door lock, intelligence navigation, IoT-based air quality monitor, and then robot vacuum cleaner. Those are some. Then some of the system software have also been listed here. And then the algorithm design and analysis, they are all here. Graph algorithms for social network, and then parallel algorithms for matrix multiplication. Hmm? If anyone can even do something here, I'll love it so much because that's if we like math, right? That's one of the major problems in computer science, right? You know, these major big companies like ChatGPT, they have to spend a lot on their data centers, having big computers just because of this problem. So you can also do a cryptanalysis of modern encryption algorithm, meaning that you check whether a particular algorithm is what robust. You find loopholes in that algorithm because security is, there is a common saying that there is no 100% secure system, right? So you have to attack the algorithm and see how, whether it's robust or not. Okay, and then we even have voting protocols. We are talking a lot, for example, about even our there being maybe cheating in elections, right? We actually have robust security systems that you can use for voting so that you make sure that people cannot tamper with it. You can think of algorithms that can do that. Okay? Yes, so the topics are limitless. As you can see, it's more than 30 pages. So still don't come back and tell us that you can't figure out any topic. Hmm? Because I've given you 30 pages, I didn't say you should go and wholesale it. You can pick anyone that you feel is interesting to you and brainstorm more about it. Go into Google search or ChatGPT, brainstorm, ask 8 questions. It will give you more ideas on what to do. Okay? Data science and analytics project work. Recently, some of my students did very innovative work in this. So if you are interested in this one too, you can contact me. Data science and analytics, meaning that the data is already there, or you collect the data yourself and then make meaning out of that data. You can even use that data to make predictions into the future. Okay, good. So we have, in fact, this one, if you are interested in it, we have more than 1,000 topics here that you can look at. We can suggest them to you, and then you will do it. But The only warning I'll give you is that you need to up your statistics and then your math knowledge and then your programming knowledge. And then how to make meaning out of mathematical data and how to make meaning out of visualization. Okay? When you see a chart, what does the chart mean? Right? In fact, that is one of the big bets in if you are searching for a job in IT now. You know, the two major political parties in Ghana are planning to train a number of youth, right? If they really want to, that's where they should look at because there are so many companies out there. You can be in Ghana and even be working for them outside of Ghana and then be taking money from there, right? So there is a lot of opportunities here, job opportunities, just that we don't have the people. We don't have the people. We have the people who want to learn wholesale, chew and poor, right? If you are the chew and poor type, you are not fit for this area. But if you are someone who can critically think and know exactly what to infer, now we also have the networking and distributed systems like cloud computing, IoT, and then peer-to-peer systems. If you are interested in this one too, we have experts here who can deal with this. Then human computer interaction, HCI, right? No matter how you think it, you can have a very good software system that no one will use. Okay? I repeat, you can have a very good software system that no one will use. Okay? So this is a very good area for you to explore. If you are there, some of you are here, you are graphic designers. In fact, very good graphic designers, but you want to waste your talent, right? You are invited to this field where you can make use of your talent. All you have to do is to what? Design very good UIs with what? Conscious thinking. And one of my students has recently done that. Like he developed a very good UI. We are developing a very good UI for what? This for a system, right? So all he did was what? Develop a very conscious UI for what? Everyone, right? Or for a particular computational complexity. Some of you have done big O notation, right? Hello? Big O. So those in 400 have done big O. This is a big problem in computer science. So if you want to help us improve a particular big O, you are welcome, right? That's also a full project work. And then formal verification of algorithms. With one of the computer securities students have done it. The one who did the homomorphic encryption, right? We mathematically prove that particular system is what? Secure in certain conditions. We call it chosen plain text attack. And that is a full project work by itself. Okay? Then the computer science students will be doing this one, compilers, right? It's also very important. If you do compilers and then you want to build compiler, right? You will need this ideas. All right. So the last aspect is the social impact projects. Projects that can what? Solve social problems such as health, how do you call it? Disaster response systems, right? Major deliverables. What is expected from you when you enter the soup now, right? Those when you enter the soup, if you are not in the soup, you feel everything is okay. But those who are in the soup know how hot it is now, right? Yes. So those of you who are in the soup now, I want to now give you what is required of you. It's a step. This is the final one. When you reach this one, this is when you know you finish school. If you don't reach here, forget everything you've learned is waste. Until you get to this level, then you can confidently beat your chest that you finished West End University. Okay? So let's start. When you enter the suit, the first thing we'll ask you to do is to bring your proposals. Okay? So the proposal, we don't expect much of you. Even if you have a lot to think about. Me, the first thing I'll check on your proposal is it solving a problem? So that is it. So to find out whether it's actually solving a problem, we'll invite you to come and defend it. You have to come and defend the proposal yourself so that we check whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. If it makes a lot of sense, we'll approve it and assign you a supervisor. If it doesn't make sense, we'll ask you to go back and then go and reframe it. If against all odds you can't still think of any problem, and we know you are drowning, we will now take you out of the water and give you a topic. And you have no option than to what? Do it. Okay? Those are the steps. Now that it's been accepted, and we've given you a supervisor, we'll give you some months to allow you to breathe, right? But you have to come back and tell us how far you've gone with the project work. And usually we do it in December. Last year we did it last December. So we call it the progress defense presentation. So you come and tell us, okay, I've started exploring the problem and I've noticed that so and so I've made some changes here and I've done this, I've done that, and then this how far I've got. If you do it well, we mark you and then we know you are a serious student. And that's what we call the progress defense presentation. Then we have the what? Final presentation or defense. That is where you have finished the work and you come and tell us that, yes, I've finished the work, this is what and what I've done, and this is how far my 4 years or 2 years or 3 years stay here has been useful. So give me whatever mark you think I deserve. That is what happens here, right? At that point, it's not too dangerous because we can give you ideas on how to go and improve. We'll help you cross the T's and dot the I's because we have experience that we can tell you that, okay, this one that you are doing this way is not the best. Go and what? Finish and paint it well and then put your work in the final order. So immediately you do that, you can present the final documentation of your work. Okay? So these are the various steps in a project work. You don't have the luxury to be writing too much.
So the
Executive summary. Yes. Because you notice we've asked you to write an executive summary. That is the one. Then, if we can identify the problem that you are solving, maybe you didn't know how to write a problem statement, so you were writing whatever you wanted to do. But if you come and we question you and then you can tell us exactly what the problem is, you get good marks here. But the text itself should also be able to what? Describe it. Then we've already talked about objective. Those of you who did research methods, right? By now you know what an objective is. Those of you who are now going to 302, by now you should know what an objective is. Then if you can justify how your work will help society, we will give you another 5 marks, right? Is your work a contribution to society or is it just mediocrity? We will know, and you have to come and justify that. So we'll ask you questions concerning that. So those are some of the things you should come and talk about when you are defending your proposal. Then the scope of the project, as we said earlier, right? It must not be too broad and it must not be too narrow. That is the clue. Okay, I showed you how a little problem was solved, but that little problem was a big problem actually, right? Good. So I've given you an example of a too broad project, such as a hospital management system. That is so broad. If you actually want to build an actual hospital management system, one person or two people cannot do it, right? Because it's a life-saving machinery that you are seeing there. You have to build a very robust system to be able to do it. So what do you then do? Let me give you a typical example. If you now want to build a hospital management system, instead of focusing on all the other systems, you can just focus on a diagnosis system. So the x-rays that come in, instead of doctors being able to tell us what is happening to the person, you can develop a machine learning algorithm that can see the picture, or we call it computer vision, can analyze the picture and tell you, describe exactly what the patient is suffering from, right? That becomes a full system because it can be integrated into a hospital management system. Okay?
Yes, sir.
An example of a problem that is too small, who can give you? Me, I'll give you the first one. Designing a calculator that can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. That is a too small code. That one will not even let you start, will reject it, will ask you to go and sit down. Right? Because that is the first lesson you learn as a programming student. That's the first thing you should be able to do.
Sir,
And it's not fit for a final year project work.
what if the person is using a voice addition, like add 1 to 3 instead of typing?
Okay, I think you are making sense there. So let's get to it. He asked a very interesting question. What if the person is now using voice, right? Good. That is when you are actually solving a problem. Even if it's voice, we will say maybe Google can do it. So why won't I go to Google for such an edition? So this way you will be more innovative. You can be like, okay,
Native language.
our traders in the market sometimes find it difficult to calculate, right? When people come and buy and sell goods. So I want to design a system where they can speak maybe Ghana language or Tree or whatever, right? And then they will be able to, the machine will be able to know that, okay, I want to calculate this and this. Tell me the total into the phone. And then it will understand it and do the calculation for you, right? That becomes an natural language process, or it falls under natural language processing. And let me bet you, the things that you have to understand before you can do that is very huge. Okay? By the time you finish building such a system, you will qualify to work in big places like Google, Microsoft, X, and the rest because they are finding it difficult to use our system because they usually design for their system. They don't design for us, right? So by so doing, you are solving our problem. You can see example. Those of you who are in final year now, you've seen me sharing Abna AI, right? That particular Abna AI is being built by Ghanaians. Okay? Ghanaians in Ghana, some are also in the US. They done a collaboration, an academic and industry collaboration. And then they are building such systems. First of all, the major problem they are solving in that case is data collection because we don't have enough data. Using will be appropriate. So, for example, you see the voice recognition system. I mentioned so many topics that you need or courses. You need linear algebra. You even need calculus. You need data communication. You need probability and statistics. You need data structures. You need algorithms. And then finally, you need Java or Python, whatever code you want to use to write it. You are good to do. Then, lastly, you need sense because you need to know how to what combine all those knowledge together and build your system, right? Good. So we look at that. If the methodologies in all those fields are appropriate, you take it from here. For example, the voice recognition system I was talking about, if let's say you say you will use BERT, we can say yes, it's good. Because we've seen it's being used in Abuna AI, right? So if you want to do it for the GAN language, we'll say, okay, since it's been done in with the GAN language and tree language and it works, then you can do it in GAN. Because at the end of the day, language is all about two things, vocabulary and grammar. If you are able to extract the grammar out of the language and all the set of words in the language, you can be able to build this system. That's why these systems can be done in any language. Okay, good. So we also look at the feasibility, whether that method will fit your work. If that method will fit your work and you're able to describe it perfectly, we give you 5 marks. Then we also look at the resources and tools, right? Are the tools appropriate, the tools that you want to use? For example, will Python language be able to build such a work? If it's so, if maybe you want to use Java, then you have a very long river to cross, right? We may advise you that, okay, maybe you want to use Java, but maybe you've not learned Java to this extent, so maybe use Python. Then we go on. But if you still insist, it's up to you. We look at all those things. Then we look at writing quality. Okay, what is writing quality? If you are writing English, let us know you are writing. Don't write anything to confuse. Write any. You give your results. You give us summary. Recommendations are always important. Okay, recommendations are always important. So you give recommendations. Sometimes you can even give recommendations on what you've not explored. Hello? You can give recommendations on what you've not looked at in the project. But then you say, those who want to look at this further, right? They should look at this other aspect. Okay? I hope you get it. I'll give you a nursing example of that soon. So let's go into it. Then appendix is just extra information. So the chapter one, you give your title, you declare that this is the most important thing. And you declare that your work is original, underline, right? Again in the school. So for this other two, we don't really care. You can ask your boyfriend, your mother, your dog, anything, right? These are the only things that you are free to write anything. You are just thanking them, right? In the whole research work, right? This is what we don't care about. These two, acknowledgement and dedication. No, just write something there. By all means, you have to be appreciative, right? So whoever you want to appreciate, we don't care here. But immediately after that, we care once again. No matter whether it's 30 pages or 150 pages, you have to be able to summarize it. Okay? You have to be what? Able to summarize your work. So we call it an abstract, which is usually between one, it should just be 1 page. It shouldn't be too short. It should not be more than 1 page. You write it. I'll show you examples of that. Then we go to the literature review because that's where you are actually proving that you have or you appreciate what others have done in that problem, and then you are just coming to add a solution to some of the existing problems there, right? So we'll find another time and discuss this in more details. So we call it a literature review. You can see the definition for yourself, right? Where you are reviewing existing body of knowledge and demonstrating the student's understanding of the field, right? Then you now go to where you are telling us how you want to solve the problem. Okay, how you want to solve a problem. So I'll give you an example in IT and then an example in what nursing when it comes to this. So you tell us how you want to solve the problem. Then the fourth one is the results. What are the results of how you solve the problem? And then finally, you conclude and what? Make recommendations. So no matter the topic you are working on, you are all supposed to follow this format, right? So I'll be sharing certain documents with you. For example, a whole book on UCC standards on documentation, which you are supposed to follow. I'll share it with you, and then I'll share this PPT with you so that you go and what absorb it the more. And then the appendix contains extra information. So you see the project work I showed you, it was having the questionnaire, right? You have to tell us the questionnaire you used to collect the data. So we put those things in the appendix. If you are doing an IT project, at least put some of the important codes that you used in the appendix so that we know that you actually coded and then you didn't just go and do any magic and then we saw results. Okay, so that is the 5 sections. Any question? Yeah. Hmm? The appendix, has that what? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A line or just I should leave the whole code and then
No, you can't leave the
paste
whole
it.
code. You can't leave the whole code because most at times it's a lot of code. It's a lot of code. I'll show you sample. Okay, don't be afraid. I'll show you sample. But this is very important to us. If I read your chapter 1, I should know exactly what your project is about. So you give us a background, which is general, right? Then you define the problem. Me, the first thing I always read is this one. Yes. So those of you who will be defending your proposal, I think I've shared the rubrics with you. It's 60 marks. We'll be marking you. I'll still describe it to you. Okay? So you give the aim, which is usually just one sentence, right? And then you give your objectives, you give a research question and hypothesis, significance of study, and then scope. Usually, students like writing some interesting, quote unquote, interesting limitations I still don't get. When they ask you to write a limitation, never write that I didn't get the time or my laptop was not working well. Come to custom margins because we want to set it our own way, right? So you set the margin, and then you can see that all sides are 1 inch, right? So set the left to what? 2. 2 inches. So you increase it to 2, or you type. You type it. So you leave the rest like that, and then you click on OK. Am I moving too fast? Okay. So you apply it to the whole document. Usually this is checked, right? You click on OK, and then you notice that it has moved it a little bit to the left. So I'll assume that I'm not coming to show you everything because I'll give you samples of what everything should be. Like the declaration, the table of content, the list of tables, the list of figures. So I'll skip all those things and then we move to the chapter 1. I want to show you how to format the chapter 1, chapter 2, all the way to chapter 5, right? That is more important to me. So I will assume that this is our title page, and then I'll show you something interesting. So, as we said, we are supposed to make this 2 inches, and then maybe we still move it a bit down so that it will look like a title. And usually the title, you make it centered. You center it like this. So arrange your work nicely like this, so that we get to know this is a title. So this is how your topic page will be like. Okay? Now, the next thing we want to learn is page numbering. Okay? Page what? Numbering. What is page numbering? So Richmond wrote this in, we assume you will finish in 2025. So July 2025, we'll type July 2025. And then we put it there. So those are the most important things. Usually we have 2 cover pages, but we are assuming it's only 1. On the second cover page, you still have to add his index number, okay? But we assume this is the first one. So I have to save this where I'll choose a location in my documents.
Why would you create the phone?
I'll save it, don't worry. I'll save it again later. Okay, let's move on, right? So the next thing we want to learn is how to number pages. Someone will say, why are we learning how to number pages? It's just a click of a button, right? Yes, but it's not true. I actually had someone who just finished and was struggling to number pages. So I don't want you to be in that soup. So I'll teach you how to number pages. Okay? It is not just as easy as coming here. It's as easy as coming here to insert page number and then picking bottom of page and then clicking whichever format you have. But it becomes a national problem when they ask you that page 1 should be I, or there should be nothing on page 1, but page 2 should have II. And then when you start chapter 1, it should what? Have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? That is when it becomes a very big problem. So I think before that, let us have more pages before I show you how to do that one. So let's keep the page numbering. Remind me so that we learn how to number a page. Is it page numbering, right?
We understand.
Numbering page. So we will do this. So let's keep that and start writing in our distance. So now let's perform a very good math. So I kept pressing enter till I'm on the next page, right? Let's perform some magic, which a lot of you may already know about. So the first thing you should do is to type your chapter 1 to chapter 5, because as I told you, you'll be having how many chapters? 5 chapters, right? At the end of the day, this is what you'll be writing on. So these are the 5 chapters that you will be working with, plus references and appendix, right? So I want to introduce a gospel to you called styles. Who has heard about this before?
Yes.
Yes, it's different from font style. Who has heard about this before?
CSS.
Okay, maybe it has nothing to do with CSS. Maybe you've used it before, you don't know what it is, so I'll explain it to you. Okay? What is a style? I'll show you all the benefits of a style. Okay? Now, as I told you, don't just be a typist in this. Maybe you are working somewhere, someone asks you, in fact, some of you don't even know how to format your CVs and format anything, right? But you are likely to get a BSc ICT business, a BSc computer science. Please use this opportunity to learn how to do it the right way, right? So the first one is that you can use styles to prepare professional looking documents, right? 2. Why so? Is it makes it consistency in formatting. 3. It also helps with what? Efficient formatting. I'll explain all to you. Efficient formatting. 4. easy navigation. I'll explain all this also to you. And then the last one is easy indexing, right? We use it for preparing table of contents. So you can write this down. Preparing table of contents. We use it in all this. So let me show you how all these things are useful. You've seen it. Thank you. So he has seen it. Let me show you. Just come to home and then you will see styles here. So it's not CSS. This one. It's very powerful. You see, I've been able to tell you all this. I'll show it to you in use. As an IT student, you shouldn't have a 100-page document and you'll be scrolling. Then you are just like anyone who has not used a computer before, right? Who is sitting somewhere and So please use this to make your work easy for you. So let's start. How do you use this? I'll show you an example. Can you see heading here?
Yes.
Heading, right? We call it heading hierarchy. You can see heading 1, 2. If I introduce a heading 1 and 2, it will introduce a heading 3 to be. So we call it a heading hierarchy. So heading 1s are usually used for headings. Then heading 2 is used for what we call subheadings. So if a heading 1 is here, this becomes a heading 2. We call this a sub what? Heading, right? Then under a heading 2, you can also have a heading 3. It goes on and on and on. So this is a sub-heading or a sub-heading. So we have it this way. Let me show you a typical example. So, for example, is this one not too glaring?
Well, I don't know.
No, they can't see the projector very well. And let's just manage this, right? Yes. So you see the chapter 1s are major headings, right? Chapter 1. There will be other things we'll be talking about, such as background, problem statements, objectives, scope of problem, and all those stuff, right? So meaning if this is your chapter 1, then all those things I just mentioned become your what? Chapter 2. Okay? Sometimes you may be writing something in the literature review. For example, I showed you contraceptives in the beginning, right? But you may also be writing certain things under contraceptives, such as maybe types of contraceptives. Maybe we have several types. Then you will have to be pushing them into other subheadings or sub-subheadings, depending on what you are doing, right? So I'll show you how to do this, and then show you how to do some of those other stuff. So let's move. So what I want you to do is that now that we've written our chapter 1 to 5, what will we do? We apply a heading 1 to all of them. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. So I'll select, before that, usually as we said, is the introduction, right? Introduction, and then this is the literature review. Literature review. This is the methodology. This is the results, and then this is the summary or conclusion and recommendations. Hey, how do we spell recommendations? Okay, so all you have to do is to select all this and then select heading 1 this way. Okay? So that's the first one. Then who has finished? It's not all my, I think this one is, which one is charging?
I don't know.
Oh, just fix it there. Let me. In fact, I have four and then two. The battery is already down, so this one should be working. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so can we continue? Who has done this? Can we continue? Okay, so under the chapter one, we said we have background, problem statement, aim, objective, significance, limitation, and then organization of study, right? So we'll write all those things under it. So background, hey, please be a fast typer, please. Sorry, fast typist. Don't be searching for keys on your keyboard. Objectives, let's say significance. Then you said the scope. Limitations. So this becomes a heading what? 2. All these are subheadings, so I use them as a heading 2. Immediately you do that, you see heading 3 has popped up, right? Good. Alright, so I give you 15 seconds to type this and then we move on. Alright, so ChatGPT is helping me. So you don't have to type everything, just type the first one. First sentence. Just this first sentence due to time, right? Type just this first sentence. I'll just show everything to you. Okay? In fact, it has given me a lot, but I just want to show you some. Okay? As I said, it has given me a lot of information. Please, it's your computer. You can type it. Alright. So let's assume this is our background. In fact, as I said, it gave me about 5 paragraphs, right? I just picked the first one. So let's assume that is our background. This is not enough to be a background. It even gave me citations, which I know is lying. Yes. Chat ChatGPT is very good at lying when it comes to citations. That's why I would not advise you to use it. Put thing that even if you ask it to give it to you, it will lie. It will lie. I just don't know why they do that. That's very unethical, right? Yes. So never use ChatGPT to find sources of your information. Yes. And me, I'll know because I inspect everything to make sure that you are getting it from the right source, right? So that you are not academically dishonest. Okay, let's move on. So, so I'm asking it to for the next one, which is so as I said, this one also don't don't write everything. You can just write the first one sentence. Then the aim. I'm adding information on the aim, and then I'm adding information on the objectives. So it has given me this one also. Uh, just write some short stuff, right? I'm coming. I'll scroll up for you to see. Ah, you want to see something? Please, as I said, you can even type gibberish. Just do this. At the end of the day, the formatting. As I said, a lot of teachers don't know professionally well. So your focus is on the professional, not the content. Okay? So you can even copy the same in your the learning. So let's move on. Just follow. After all, we'll be posting this video also, right? It's being recorded. So I've written all the objectives and then let me write a significance. So it has given me a significance of study. We move. So okay, so a minute. Alright, so let's finish this up. Okay, so limitations, there are many, but let me put it user. Alright, so those are the limitations that we have. Then what's left? What's left? That's all. So anything that we'll do here just applies same to chapter 2, right? Meaning that if you have subheadings, you have any other templates for you. Now, let's look at how to do the professional looking and then consistency in formatting. If let's say all headings are supposed to have a particular formatting style, right? You don't need to go to each heading one by one to format it. Okay? You can edit it from one point and it will affect all headings as a whole. That's why I said efficient formatting, meaning that it makes formatting very fast. Okay? Please take note. And I repeat, it makes formatting very fast because I can format the chapter 1 to chapter 5, the headings that I just with one click. How do we do that? As I said, all the styles are here. And I know I formatted the heading here. So I'll just come here and right click on the heading 1. When I right click on it, I'll see modify, which is the first one there. I click on it and then I can modify accordingly. So you notice that the heading was blue in color. We can make it black or any other color that you want. Even if it's red, we want it to be right. But in this case, we want black. So maybe I formatted it to red and then I later want to change it. I can easily change it. And as I said, UCC uses this one, Times New Romance. And then let's assume all the headings should be font size 16. You can go and check. They give you the exact font size that you should use for all headings. And then the chapter headings have to be in the middle. So I'll center it. This is how you center. Center. I hope you've seen it. The center. And then it will be giving you the preview. Who has been able to do that? Who else? Who else? Okay. When you finish, just click on OK. And you notice that all your chapter headings are as such, as you can see here. Right? You didn't have to do it one by one. You do it once. That's what I mean by efficient format. And also consistency. So you don't have chapter 1 having font size 24, chapter 2 is having font size 16, chapter 3 is having blue color, chapter 4 is black color, right? You are consistent in formatting. Okay? Next one. So maybe I'm like, I don't like red. UCC uses blue. So I just come back here, modify, change the color to black, and then I make it bold because all chapter headings are supposed to be bold. So this is bold. I click on OK. Done. You can see, right? All the other chapter headings, I don't need to do anything again. It has helped me, right? Good. Can we move on? Good. So let me now do the same for all these other ones. I've noticed that this one too is blue. So it's not supposed to be blue, it's supposed to be black. It's supposed to be Times New Roman. It's supposed to have fonts like maybe 14 or 12, right? So I'll go ahead and do that. So once again, I'll come to the styles here and then right click on it, come to modify, and then I select Times New Romans, right? And then I bolden it, I make it black color. And then usually for these ones, it has to be at the left. So you don't make it centered, you keep it at the left. So that one is cool. And then there is one more thing that I have to show you. This thing is very important. We call it paragraph spacing before and after. Paragraph spacing before and after. This one, sorry. This one. Meaning that you see the user directing city. Maybe it's a topic, right? The space between this is too small. Usually, sometimes they want the space. What do you do? You can increase or decrease it. Yes, let's increase it. Usually, it's advisable to do it twice because the first one will do mildly, second one will space it for you to see very well. And then whatever you are doing, it will be telling you. You see the line spacing, it has told us the font size, bold, color, the text, the font size, the type, the space before and after, right? They are showing you all those things. When you change it, they will tell you. For example, you see space before is now 8 and after is 6. If I increase it, it's now 14 and 12, right? Then I click on OK. So it has done all of them for us instead of you trying to do it one by one. So if you have a 150-page document and I ask you to format, you don't start insulting me, right? Just go ahead and what? Use this. Yes. No, you might insult me maybe in your head, right? Yeah. eh? Just use this to make your work easy. Anytime you are typing a heading, just apply the style as you keep moving on so that if I now this thing as you said, I don't want to collect. So please just do it, right? So we have done that. So our heading 2 is intact now. Yes, we've bolded it, so it's intact. Now, there's someone who ask, how do we achieve this, this, and the rest for any other thing that we type? We call it normal paragraph. Okay, this is a normal paragraph. This is a normal paragraph. So once again, for you not to insult me, if I ask you that, please go and change the line spacing to 2. All you have to do is to come here. To come here. Here. Normal. You can see normal here, right? Right click on it and modify it and just change it to Times New Roman, font size 12, line space. This is the double spacing I've been talking about. So double space. And then because we've already done this one for the headings, you don't need to do it again. And then this is called indentation. Indentation will push it inside. And then the other one is like this, right? And then you can now click on OK. And then, sorry, I'm not done. I'm not done. First of all, I want to apply the normal to all of them so that it will, so this is supposed to be normal and then normal. Yes, it's already normal. I will not touch this one. There is another one because this is a list. There is something else we do to it. I'll show you how to do that. Normal and then normal Limitations is also a list, so I'll show you how to do that one. So assuming that now I come and tell you that you are supposed to justify the text. I didn't tell you about that one, right? The text alignment in UCC format is supposed to be justified. We are doing all these things because we don't want to come back to this, right? Just learn it once and for all and just use it for your work. So, assuming I come and say that, oh, your work doesn't look good, why is the left very straight and then the right is dangling, right? So, correct it. Then, once again, don't insult me. Just come here. Just come here and do this. Do this. Problem solved for your 150-page document, right? Yes. Your 150-page document has been solved with just 2 clicks. That's why I said it's very good when it comes to efficient formatting, consistency in formatting, and also preparation of what professional looking documents. Okay, because it makes you have one style for all the various components that you are doing. Okay, now next one is the list, because you notice that there is a list here, right? Objectives, right? There is a special style for it called list paragraph. This one. So just select it for any list. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. I added this one to it. So it's just this one. List paragraph. So this is also a list paragraph. This one, limitations. So I'll not add it. Includes this, right? So list paragraph. So that's the first thing you do. Who has been able to do that? Hmm? Go back to where? Oh, list paragraph. You have to. Is the last one. Is the last one. So let's see how we can format this one also. So to format this, you would come to, there is an advanced form of formatting here where you can do more stuff when it comes to the formatting. Okay, so you click on it, you can do fonts, paragraph, tabs, border, language, frame, numbering, shortcuts, and then text effect. We are interested in the numbering because we want to number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, I. You can even use booklets, it's up to you. Okay, so I want to do it 1, 2, 3. One with a nice curl bracket, right? So you are free to choose A. So I'll choose this one and click on OK and OK. So you will notice that it has done it for us. I'm coming. I think I didn't select it. Oh, sorry, I didn't select it much more. So it has bold in it. So let me select it once again so that it removes the bold. Yes, it has removed it. And then you will notice that it has done this one too for us, right? But it has continued from 6, 7, 8, right? So we have to prompt it that this is not a continuation, it's something new we are starting, right? How do you do that? You just, a simple click will solve it. So you right click and then you tell it to restart at 1. Okay? Good. It restarts at 1 and then problem solved, right? And then you don't insult your village people. They don't really have any hand in your predicaments. It's just usage of what? Technology. Yes, they are so innocent. All right. I hope you get this one right. The work looks nice right now, right? So same thing you'll be doing when it gets to chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. So I'll not go into those ones, right? But I'll just go into one or two things, which I know you know how to add tables. I know you know how to add diagrams, right? But I have to show you how to add a table and how to caption it also, both tables and diagrams, and then how to add them to your list of tables because they are also very important, right? So let's quickly go through that. So let's go to the chapter 2. So another thing you have to know is that every chapter must start on a new page. Every chapter must start a new page. Don't mind my handwriting. At least I said it, so listen to me. So there are two ways to solve this. You can use a section break and then you can also use a page break. Interestingly, a lot of you all even don't know how to use a page break. So please, if you don't know how to use Microsoft Word carefully, there are so many videos out there. YouTube courses, even professional courses that you can do if you want a certificate, right? To learn how to do some of these things, right? So you can use a page break or a page section break. Let's learn how to use a page break. A page break is simply you go to the layout and then you see page. So we assume we finished our chapter 1. So you click on the what page break, right? And then you put it there. So you see that it's here. We've started our chapter 2. We finished writing everything we have for chapter 2. And we assume it is all on page 2, page whatever. You click on the page break again. Someone will ask, I've clicked on it, I'm not seeing anything. Or you are seeing it. How do you then see it? You come to home, and then there is a very important button called a show and hide. I always turn this off, and some people I even inform them. They'll ask me, say, I'm seeing so many things on my feed. Why is this? And they think it's an error. It's not an error. A simple process can show you what that is, right? So that you know what we call it a show of hide. It guides you to format. Okay. Anytime you print your work, you will not see all this thing there, all this thing. You will not see it when you print your work. If you see, you can see it all over, right? All I have to do is to do this to hide it. It guides me in formatting. Sometimes you'll be typing and then you notice that thing has shifted to the next page. You don't know that there is a page break there. There is a page break there. It's not a demon, right? So you check. You just click here and then you will see that it's not a demon, but it's actually a page break that was introduced here. Whereas when you click on it here, you will not see that. When you hide it, you will not see it. Then you'll be typing and wondering why is the rest of the text moving to the next page, right? So when you bring it back, you know that there's actually a page break here. Okay? Hmm? Good. So for me, when it comes, I'm typing, I know this is not a bad moment, so I always turn it on so that I know what I'm doing. Okay? Good. So I do that and then I move to the chapter 4. And then I also press enter. I assume we typed everything in the chapter 4. And then I introduce a page break here. So to implement this idea, all I have to do is to use a page break or a section break. I'll show you why a section break is more powerful than a page break. Okay? Then chapter 5 also, we do the same thing. So I want you to also practice whilst you are there so that you can look at how this happens. So chapter 5 and then, oh sorry, that was chapter 4, right? And then this is the chapter 5. So even the chapter 5 should start on a fresh page. The references should also start on a fresh page. And then the appendix should start on a fresh page. You see, all these things your supervisor is not supposed to be telling you. We will just tell you to go and read the book. Right? Yes, that's why we are volunteering to teach you now. So if I've taken note of all of you, those who will come later for you to teach them, take money from them. Because we will keep rejecting them. Take money from them and teach them, and then pocket the money. Because me, I will not teach this to any of my students. Yes. So appendix, you start it from a fresh page, and then you are done. Okay. So that's how to implement this. So I'll save my work. So far, I've not been saving. So always remember to save your work, right? Before you cry on someone. So we've done the appendix. Let's now learn how to add a table and how to caption it. The what? Section break. I'll show you how to use it. Now let's learn how to enter a table. You see, I showed you someone's work and then it has so many tables, right? So I just want to show you how to do it, which I know a lot of you already know how to do. So assuming there is a table in your chapter 4. Okay, so the table below presents, okay, so let's say demographic or descriptive statistics. So there's a heading 2, right? And then the presents demo, the gender distribution. It's not even a distribution, but we'll call it a distribution of respondents. Immediately you start talking about distribution, we've entered probability. But I'm not finding any better English for that, so let's leave it at that. So we will go to insert and then table, right? So male, female, frequency percentage total. So it will have something like this, which is um, frequency percentage male, female. So gender and then total. So if the frequency is 56, huh? 56 and 44. I want things to be easy. This is at 100, right? So it will still be 56% and 44% and 100%, right? So this is how simple a table can be. I did how many steps? First step, come to insert. Second step, come to the table. Third step, check the number of rows and columns that you need. And then it draws it for you, right? Simple, right? Yes. Then fourth step, type into it. Fifth step, make it look presentable. Okay. So I can now make it look presentable. I'll select everything in the table and then I center it. I have to make the headings bigger. And then I'm done. And then I can now go ahead and caption the table because if you notice all the projects I have shown you, apart from the table of contents, you have to tell us where all the tables are. And then also tell us where all the pictures are. If I ask you to do that, once again, don't insult me. Just use this simple technique I'm going to show you to do it. It will generate everything for you, generate table of content for you. Because you see that heading I've shown you, I told you you can use it to prepare table of content, right? I'll show you how to do just one thing. Okay? Good. It's the same concept, right? Yes. So we want to learn how to generate list of tables. It will tell you everything. Don't want to use one by one. Even all the figures that you've done, if you caption of them, it will be able to generate it. Okay? Yes. So let's learn how to caption. To caption this table, we'll call this table gender distribution of respondents, right? So to caption a table, it's easy. You see this small arrows that they've added on to us, right? You right click on it and then you click on insert caption. Okay? So it's a table. Usually in UCC format, you are supposed to label the tables above, not below, but the figures are supposed to be below. Okay? So I'll say table 1. Gender distribution of what? Respondents. Okay? Then it's a table. It should be above the selected item. And then I click on OK, and then you can see it at the top. If it's too small for you, you can decide to increase it, or based on what UCC wants you to do, go and read and do it accordingly. Okay? Good. Next one is we want to now label the figures. Huh? I'm just giving an example. I didn't say you should write. You mean this one? Ah, you mean this and this? Ah, this you are just telling us. I'm giving you an example. I'm not giving you an actual content. Uh-huh. You mean this one? Two of what? Just come to the board and tell us what you are talking about. Yes. That one is a text. It's saying it's just describing what the table is about. So you can write a whole paragraph. We don't care. But at the end of the day, this is the table itself. Okay? I'm not writing everything for your work, right? Yes. So this is how you do a table. Now let's come to figures, right? Uh, let's go to the figures. So the figure below shows a sample app, app registration interface. It's actually not an interface, right? But can I even get a UI currently? No, okay. Okay, let's connect to internet. You can actually even, I'm just picking it from the internet, so I'll pick an online picture. You can pick it from your computer, right? I just need an app UI, app registration page. I'm searching from Bing. I don't want it to be a Creative Commons. Yes, so which one is nice? I'm picking this one. Okay. So assuming this our UI, right? You've added your picture, maybe you've designed the UI, you've screenshotted it, and then it's on your page. Please caption it. Some of you, to caption a page, because we've not taught you, you've not gone to search the professional, never just type under. Some of you do this. You go and say app registration page. This is not a caption. Okay? A caption is when, oh, sorry. A caption is when you right click on it and then insert caption. This is when it becomes a caption. Okay? So here, it is not a table. It is what? So here we can type app registration page. And then we click on OK. And then problem solved. And then you remove this. You notice that I always bring a colon and then I bring space and then I start typing. Okay? Good. Uh-huh. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, right.